During an interview, it is common for interviewers to ask about the solid principles. This is because following these principles can save time and resources in the long run, and also make the code more flexible and reusable. Solid is a set of 5 principles that help create high-quality code. By following the principles, it is possible to create code that is easier to understand, test, and update. This video will discuss the principle of single responsibility. In this principle, the main concern is that a class should have one and only one reason to change. See an example. Suppose the owner of a company needs a system to calculate the salaries of employees and to count the frequency that employees use the company's office. Note that it will be necessary to save the results in spreadsheets. Let's propose an initial solution. We will create 3 classes. The first will be to represent the employee. The second will be to calculate and export salaries. The third will be to count and export the frequency of visits to the office. This solution worked perfectly. We delivered it to the boss and he was satisfied. But yesterday everything stopped working. It turns out that to create the spreadsheets we used a library that only works with the internet. And this library is loaded every time we create an instance of the class in memory. Notice that because of this, even if we just want to calculate the salary, it will not be possible, since the class also imports the error-prone library. To solve this, we will apply the principle of single responsibility. Both the salary calculator class and the visit counter class have 2 responsibilities and may contain duplicate code. In order to resolve this issue, we will create a new class that is specifically responsible for exporting data to spreadsheets. Consider what would happen if the previous issue were to occur. The problem now only affects the export class. The functionality will now work correctly, and the problem will only occur when we use the faulty code. And this only happens because the class is no longer taking on multiple responsibilities. By taking on too many responsibilities, a class may end up creating more dependencies and making the system more fragile to changes. This also makes it harder to reuse code and organize for developers. Furthermore, if a class is named one thing but acts like something else, it can be difficult to understand. All of this can be avoided by following the principle of single responsibility. Remember to always keep this in mind when working with object-oriented programming. A class should have one and only one reason to change.